Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Boulder Canyon here in Farming Simulator 17, I was going to say, but it's not 17, it's 19. Farming Simulator 19, I can't believe I'm still trying to make that same mistake. But anyway, this is Farming Simulator 19. We've got a whole load of trees here on the ground, and we need to go and pick a load of them up, and we need to sell them. I'm going to cut down just a couple more trees. We've got one there that's got that whole strange thing where the tree doesn't actually exist. So we won't be cutting that one at all. We'll just leave that one as it is, and we'll use the auto load to load it up. There, see? It does that. Which we don't really want it to do. We'll whiz up through here a minute. Clean this one off. This one we will just cut in half. And this week we're hoping to be able to do a harvest, a grass harvest. We'll just chop that one in half, I think. Yeah, we're hoping to be able to cut and turn all of our grass down there into silage bales and then sell them. And the few other things as well. We've got some sheep. I wouldn't mind buying more sheep, even though we're using sheep. Well, we've got sheep at the moment, and the main thing that we want to save up for now is the Ponzi Scorpion. I'm aware that some people think that this is a bit ridiculous, that we're cutting down trees in order to be able to save money, in order to be able to get a Ponzi Scorpion that will allow us to cut down trees to earn money. Yeah, it may seem a little bit odd, you know, maybe we should have gone for the arable stuff first, but first of all, the vote came back with do the Ponzi Scorpion first. We can do, using the Ponzi Scorpion is faster than what I can do with the chainsaw, mainly because it cuts up the logs so much faster, and try and bring that one to there. It cuts the logs faster than what I can do it. It also cleans off all of the branches as it does so, and it cuts them into perfect 8-meter lengths, which is far better than what I could do. I cannot cut any trees into the perfect lengths, which means that we get the best price for it. Anywhere between 6 and 10 meters, I believe, gets you the maximum price for trees. It may be an even smaller window than that, but I believe it's between 6 and 10 meters. So if we can cut everything to exactly 8 meters, we get the best possible price for it. And the best way to do that is to have a Ponzi Scorpion. So, yes, it will mean that it'll take a little bit longer to move on to arable. But we are still going to be moving to arable at some point. And you've also got to remember that it's not just that we're wanting to move to arable at some point, and this is kind of stopping us from doing that. It's not stopping us from doing that. We do want to get a Ponzi Scorpion at some point as well, and if we earn all of the money by using a chainsaw and chopping stuff down, and then go and get all the arable set up, and the combine, the storage, and everything else, and then we go along, we do a little bit of arable, which isn't going to earn us anywhere near as much money as what the timber does, because let's be honest, this is the big earner on the map. Then we go and earn all again, using nothing but the chainsaw. It's going to take longer. It's definitely going to take longer doing it that way than it is doing it the way that we're doing it. So this is why, well, I say this is why we're doing it. This isn't why we're doing it. There was a vote, and the vote was very strongly in favour of getting the Ponzi Scorpion first. So there was, I'm only saying this because there was a few people saying that, well, you know, this is absolutely ridiculous because now we've got to do more forestry. It wouldn't have mattered if we'd done it the other way. It would not have mattered in the slightest if we'd done it the other way. We'd still have to do a load of forestry because we're not going to be able to get enough arable stuff going to start with to be able to forego having to do any forestry. And we need to do forestry because otherwise we're not going to have any land. We've got to do forestry in order to be able to clear some fields so that we can use the combine and stuff that we will eventually be getting. We can't use that combine unless we've got arable going on. Now, the big question with this tree is whether or not it will even pick up. Because we haven't cut it, it may not pick up. And I forgot to turn it up to 30 times speed to start with, so we'll just do... Actually, let's just flick it up to 60, just so that we... Yeah, you all thought that I'd completely forgotten. I was thinking about it, and then I did forget a little bit, but I feel I've made up for that now. So if we just do that a minute, we put it up to 60 times speed, just for a minute. And, right, I think we can drop it back down to 30 now, because we're going to have to jump out in a minute and probably have to do something with this tree right here. Because I don't think that one's going to load. No. Right, that one's not loading. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to at least try and trim this one back. Stop the steering wheel from moving me at all. Right. If I do that a minute, it's going to let me... Right, it's not letting me... This is the main problem I have with these trees, is that it doesn't let us actually do anything with them. If I come over here, there's where I can cut it. That's about as far as I can get. So right there is about as close as I can get to cutting it. That's immediately loaded it up onto there. And then this one here... Right, we can pick this one up by hand. So we'll take that one and we'll put that in there like that. And we'll just leave that one as it is. So that one can stay right there, and it will drag along behind us. It's kind of an invisible, non-existent thing that doesn't exist. Very peculiar. Very strange. But it'll be fine. We'll load all of this lot up. We do have now, at least, we've got hired help. We've got hired help housing. We're going to need to get our own housing here at some point. That's on the to-do list. Did I actually remember to do that? I think I did. I think I did actually remember to do that last week. Yes, I did. We've got the farmhouse right there. That's the next one that we're working towards, but we won't worry about that one too soon. There's other things that we want to get first, like, you know, saving up big chunks of money for the Ponzi Scorpion. But also, I'm not going to rush towards the Ponzi Scorpion. Alright, I will be getting it, but I'd like to get a pen full of sheep first. I actually think getting a pen full of sheep would be more important than getting the Ponzi Scorpion. It's just that we'll be getting the Ponzi Scorpion before we move into doing any arable farming. So both of them will eventually be happening, the Ponzi Scorpion and the arable farming. It's just that we're going to do the Ponzi before we do the arable farming. Right, I'm going to stop that one. I'm going to put the straps all on. And we are going to head up to the sawmill with this load. Then we'll probably come back and cut up a load more. We haven't got that much left to finish this field. Then we're going to need to start thinking about clearing tree stumps. But before we actually start clearing tree stumps, I'd like to take this one over to our little workshop that we've got over there and see about upgrading the engine. So we'll have a look at the cost of that. See how much that's going to cost us, and have a serious consideration about upgrading that engine. Then we've got to, well, we'll be probably getting ready to enlarge the next field. That's going to be one of our next big jobs, is that we've got to make the field bigger. Well, not make the field bigger, but like cut the new field out. I'm just wondering about this, what we can do. Are you going to keep moving? Oh, it is moving, just. Only just, but it is moving. Right, if you look at that. Oh no, it's now sliding. No, it was sliding, but there we go, now it's moving. Right. See, it really does struggle to get up that hill there. I think the bigger engine is definitely going to help us. So we're going to want to be working towards that one fairly soon. We stop that there a minute, and we jump out. Yeah, I've been doing a bit more wondering about, there we go, $20,500. Absolutely fantastic. What should I have as a weekly question? Have I got anything this week in particular that is a major decision, and I don't think we have, really. I don't think we've got any major decisions this week to make. I'm going to be expanding the sheep, and overall we're looking towards increasing the amount of money that we've got. Now, I actually do need to slow that down again. I left that on 30 times speed for a little bit too long. It's alright though, we won't worry about that. I'm going to head back to the yard first. Our grass is growing here. We may actually be able to cut the grass in the morning. I don't know. I don't know about that. We might not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, right? And I'm going to go there. We're going to go to landscaping like this. Now, I don't want to be leveling out any ground. I've got no need to be leveling out any ground, except for possibly a little bit of rough ground right there. But if I do that, that means that I'm eliminating all of the grass that's there, because you can't have grass being planted next to sheep. We know that that can't happen. So what I'm actually... You do not own this land. Okay, so I've got the limit all the way out to here, which I don't particularly like. This is the bit that we wanted to work on. I wanted to go over to here, so I want to change the landscaping mode. And then I want to use... Oops, I've gone too far. It's that one, I think. Is that it? Right, I think that's it. It looks the same as the one over it. Yeah, it is the same. Right, so that is the ground that I want, and I want to bring that down over here, but the problem I've got is that I don't own this land over here, and that's the bit that I don't like. Look at that. You don't own this land. So unfortunately, even though we would very much like to be able to do that, if you go to land here, I got to buy that, which is 900,000, which would allow me to buy all of that and the bit around it, and it also buys the river valley, plus a few little bits in between the roads. Unfortunately for us, it's not all that well marked out on this bit over here, so I've got an extra gap on there. Let's just move that back, and then... Oh no, it won't let me mark anything over the top of that. I'll bring this one up here, and I want to just make a track out from there. So we don't want it to go too far. I will bring the edges around a little bit, like that. There. And then this one here, I'm going to bring those edges around a little bit, and I am just going to move that back a little bit there. And I'm also, again, I can't do it over here. This is the bit that I'd like to do. I'd like to just clean off that edge there and that edge there, but I can't do it because it tells me I don't own the land. So yes, we've got our track going through here, which is what I wanted. I did want to have a track going through there. And then I also wanted a track that went up to the sheep so that we could reach them. And I do think that we should have that. But what I'm actually thinking is we should go with... Let me get the right texture. It's not here. I've got plain grass texture, but I don't have the grass and mud texture. We've got it's actually limited the number of textures that we can have on this map. It's not allowing us to have the texture that I want, which is a bit unfortunate. Not sure why they would have done that, but anyway, they have, so we can't do anything about it. So what we'll do instead is we'll bring this one down here like this, and I'll bring that also around the side of the sheep there, like that. And over to this side, because we can't put grass on that. And then what I'll also do is I want to make a track that goes from this side up through. We'll also do a track here that goes from the sheep over here and joins up with that bit. So that sort of goes through there. And there's a rough spot right there we don't want. I'm not going to do anything up through there, but I am going to make a track that comes off of here. Right, we want something to come up through there. And that's going to come around there like that. So it's not a particularly big track. It's not going to take up like loads and loads of space. But it is enough. Oh, I've actually gone and gotten rid of the sheep there a minute. The spilled stuff in the sheep pen, which is not ideal. We'll leave the grass in the sheep pen, and we'll leave most of the grass around the edge. I'll just make that a little bit wider there. There. I think that's about right, like that. So then, if I change back to this landscaping mode right here, it's saying the terrain cannot be modified, but what I'm hoping is I can just use this one here on the bit that we've got a track on. Right here. Now, I can't modify all of the terrain here because I don't have the Place Anywhere mod. So there is the Place Anywhere mod that does affect this. That's going to have to be all that we can do. Right. But it also lowers the cost of everything to do with terrain, and that's the bit that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go lowering the cost of it. Now, if we go through this way and we have a look. It's unfortunate that we can't do anything about that little strip there, but we can't, you know, there is nothing we can do about that. We're just going to have to accept that. That's fine. That's something that we will work with. But we've now got a track that will go through here and on into our main yard up here. And we've just rounded off the edges a little bit of our track up there into the main yard as well. That's another thing that's going to look quite good. I'm quite pleased about that. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to unhitch this tractor a second. There. And then we're going to come over to the workshop. Now, we've only got half a tank of fuel, so we are going to need to get fuel sometime fairly soon. But there's other things that we need to do as well. We need to repair this one. We can repair that one there for $2, yes. And then this one here, the tractor, has had a fair bit of work. But if I customize it before we do that, curious to see if that will mean that we don't need to worry about repairing it. Whether the customization will set it up. So we got front hydraulic. I see. Right. So what have we got? We've got the front hydraulic on it. So if I go to customize there, I don't want to change anything on there. I've already got customization. But what I do want is I want to add a bigger engine. That's 9,400, that is. So we've got 115. At the moment, we've got 107 horsepower. 115, 130, and 143. So we go to 143. It's 9,400. Standard configuration there, which is not what we want. We actually want the front hydraulic on it, which is what we've already got as well. But I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to make sure it's got front hydraulic selected so that nothing else changes. The colors will stay as they are. Everything else stays as it is. And we will customize. That's $9,400 in order to be able to upgrade our engine to 143 horsepower. So we customize that. Do you want to purchase? Yes, I do. Right. That's now upgraded. So then if I go into here, I've still got to repair it. Right, $94 to repair it. There we go. Condition is all the way back up. Excellent. So I'll load that one back on. So I've now got a more powerful engine. I've still got no fuel over here, and that is something that we're going to have to look at doing. If we're going to go and get fuel, I mean, we've got a couple of options when it comes to fuel. We've got in here, no, not in there. Well, actually, I think there is one in here somewhere. I don't think it's under silos. Farm silo, placeable farm silo. I don't think it's under here at all. Miscellaneous. We got water set. Fuel tank right there. Save long trips to the fuel station. Right, that's 5,900. I don't think that this is a sell point. I'm not sure. I mean, if it is, we'll just... yeah, we'll use it as a sell point, and I'm quite happy to do that. Greenhouses as well are another one that I'd like to get, but, you know, they work better with manure, and we don't have anything that produces them. Bees, those would be great, but they only earn $8 an hour. And it's going to take a long time to pay back the 20 grand. These can earn $40 an hour. So that's a little bit better, yeah? So you get 800, what am I looking at? 809, almost $1,000 a day. So, I mean, it's still going to take 25 days to pay that back. So it's a long-term investment, isn't it? There's a fuel tank there. Fuel tank with trigger. This water station can supply your water tank. Okay. Might be a spelling mistake, but that one there, fuel tank. 5,900 for this fuel tank right here. Now, we can take this one. We can place this one down, but I don't know if this is a... The terrain cannot be deformed here. I don't know if this is an actual sell point, or if this is a... like a working thingy. Now, you don't want to put the fuel tank near the workers' housing, do you? That's not really fair. But down this end of the barn, I think this would be a good spot to put it. Now, if I rotate that round a little bit, terrain cannot be deformed here. Now, this is the big question, is why can't we put... I can put it there. It'll allow me to drop it up there, but it won't allow me to drop it over... It's literally a spot right there that it's not letting me put it on. Do I need to raise... I can't raise it or lower it. I can put it out here. Now it's not letting me put it down at all. It was letting me put it down here. I'll put it there. I can put it over this side. I can bring it all the way over here. There's a... Actually, right there. We'll drop that one there. We'll put that one up against the building up there. And then what I will also do is I'll go back into landscaping like this. And we change the landscaping mode. So we go to the dirt. And we'll just put... So we'll have it on a concrete pad like that. And then... If I shrink that down a little bit. Like that. So yeah, the fuel is on a concrete pad there. That's perfect. I like that. And now I want to come down here and I want to see how much of this I can remove. Well, I can get some of it here. Alright, there's little patches. At least we've managed to get some of it to kind of like break through here. Yeah, right. That's as much as we can do. Okay, we're done. And I need to have a look on here. So that is gas station. Right, so unfortunately, well, it is unfortunate. I didn't want to be buying fuel there. Ideally, what I wanted to do was I wanted it to just be a place where we store fuel. But we can go with the buying of fuel. We can live with that. I am reasonably happy to go and do that. So we'll bring you up over there and in around here. And then we come up and we go next to you. Diesel. Select a silo. Oh. Oh no, it's saying select a silo, but you gotta buy the fuel anyway. Right. That's fine. So we've got a refuel point, and basically this will just say that this one works. You know, we paid 5,900 for that one to be installed out in the farm, and I've never ever worked on a farm that didn't have their own fuel supply on the farm. You get a lorry delivering a big chunk of fuel every couple of months, and they always have their own big fuel tanks on the farm. I have never worked on any kind of farm that didn't have their own fuel tank on the farm somewhere in order to have everything filling up. So yeah, it would actually be stranger for us to be going off and filling up somewhere else than it would staying here and filling, you know, and being able to fill up right here. So I do think we've at least got that right. So we've gone and spent a load of our money. We've now sort of redesigned things a little bit down there. We've got 40 minutes until we have to stop for the night, which means that we can hopefully get a few more of these trees down. We've got more logs that we can sell anyway, but if we can get a few more of the trees down, ready for selling, that would be great. That would be absolutely fantastic. Get a load of these chopped and done. There's a bit more money coming in, and then we'll also hopefully be able to start doing our next lot of grass cutting. And we can test the hired help as well. That is something that I've been really looking forward to being able to do, is properly testing the hired help and see how that gets on. We've got them now. They're here. They're on the farm. We've got housing for them. We've forked out a fortune for their housing, which is absolutely fantastic. So they're going to be very happy. They do have somewhere now to stay. They're going to be very pleased about that. Which means that they've got accommodation, they've got paid employment, all round they're just going to be happy chappies and possibly ladies. Yeah, we've got happy employees. That's what we've got. Very, very happy employees. Let's bring this one up here, or at least we will once we start having some work for them. Because let's be honest, if you've ever had a job where you've literally got nothing to do, it's very dull. It's a very, very boring job, and you don't want to be doing it for very long. You end up just leaving because there's nothing to do, right? I mean, yeah, I know that some people don't mind sitting there and getting paid to just stare at the wall, but I mean, if the employee is happy for me to find a book, and if the employer is happy for me to find a book and just sit there and read a book for several hours and pay me to do so, well, yeah, I'll do that. I don't mind doing that, but yeah, I would prefer to actually have some work to do. It does make the time go a bit faster, and yeah, right. I mean, it's also the case of having work that you enjoy doing, I suppose. If you really hate the job and then there's nothing to do for the day except just kind of loaf around, it's Neither option is particularly appealing, really, is it? You're either bored all day or you're doing something that you genuinely hate. So, you know, that I feel is a little bit different. It's more of a conundrum to put you in, isn't it? I mean, ideally, if you can, I would strongly recommend that you don't do a job that you really hate. I've been there, I've done that. It's not nice. All right, it's not something that you want to do. And if you can, find a job that you're passionate about. Find a job that you like. It's a lot better than spending years doing something that you absolutely hate, or even just don't care about, right? Even if you just don't care about the job, it's still not something you want to waste years of your life doing. Trust me on this. I speak from experience. Right, do I cut any more down? Yeah, I will. I'll take a few more down tonight. We've got a little clump of them right here, and actually that's the road right there, isn't it? We're almost done. We are almost done with cutting down these trees. I reckon tomorrow's episode we will actually finish all of the trees in this field, and then we've got stump grinding and ploughing and making bigger fields and all sorts. So we got a lot of work ahead of us. Huge amount of work ahead of us. Go up through there. Taking down this one. All nice and clean and tidy all the way up through. There we go. And I have just about run out of time for today's episode as well. I'm aware of that. So we're going to wrap things up in just a minute. So let's just come up here. I reckon cut this one into 3 pieces. We'll chop one off of there. And we'll chop one, I could probably have done into 4. Still, it's done now. We've done 3 pieces. So, yes, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please hit down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. We have now got our farm down there. It's looking altogether better, I think. It's starting to take shape. We're going to want machinery sheds. That is another thing that I think is quite important, and I do think that we should be getting. I don't want to leave our farm with no machinery sheds. It's only right to get everything under cover and stored away and protected reasonably well. I think that's a good idea. But we will worry about that tomorrow, so we'll actually be sleeping the night first thing at the beginning of our next episode. So that's it. That is all I got time for. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.